I wanted to share a couple thoughts before I left today. Um, I've been having a thought just, the past few days. I've shared it before, but I'm going to share it again and think about current events and stuff going on in my life and everybody's life. Um, it's an idea that's pretty important and pretty relevant to everything we study and read with the Bible. Um, And the story is, well, more recently, I had a conversation with my friends, and the one friend was talking about the value of a human being. And he was comparing how some human beings can take a ball and accurately shoot the ball into the basket, you know, at a high percentage. I think he was talking about like LeBron James or something. Tremendous athletic talent and skill. And my one friend was arguing with my other friend about the value of that versus the value of him and his job and his work and everything and his life. And the one friend was saying how that tremendous talent and skill is how valuable it is. And that whole argument is based on a worldly perspective, which is usually his perspective, is a worldly look at life. Versus my other friend saying, why am I in this garbage job and why do I get paid nothing? And then that guy gets paid millions of dollars just to shoot a ball in a hoop. I could do that if I wanted to. That's what he said. He was being funny. But see, you have a perspective of what value am I really in this life, in this world, this broken world. See, everybody watches LeBron James make those shots, and they denote value to that skill because everybody watches that, everybody observes that talent, that skill with the sports. You could look at any sports, look at any athletic talent, and based on how the media sets it, how the world perceives talent and skill and value, human value. See, he's basing it on the world's perspective that he deserves those millions of dollars versus the person that gets up, goes to work every day in these miserable jobs. He gets yelled at all day by these nurses. See, nobody sees that, the psychological work that goes through having to deal with these insane nurses and doctors that beat him up all day. He's not in a physical laborious job, but he has to deal with that psychological battle, I think, having to keep a straight smile amidst madness. But he gets paid nothing, and LeBron James gets paid everything. You could look at our whole world. So, value of the human being in this world, that's that. Now, I respond to my friend and I say, or I didn't say anything. I just listened and kind of laughed a little bit, 'cause they do have funny conversations. Is it's good just to listen to them. But I would have responded with, I have no value today. No human being has any value today, really. When I'm looking at it from the world's perspective, right? From my value today, don't you think that a robot could do my little job, just working in retail, stocking shelves? Don't you think a Terminator could do a lot better job, and they could do it for no money, and they could do it faster, better, more efficiently? No problem. I have no value. I have no work. I have nothing to offer this world anymore. And that's what's going to be dawning on a lot of people as we move forward in these difficult times we're in. You have to come to that recognition that human beings have no value to work anymore. The technology is so far gone that it's actually a detriment for me being in the workplace. And then you look at all the legal stuff associated with all of that. There's more risk associated with a human being in the workplace versus a robot. You might as well get a bunch of robots to run everything. And that's where we're headed. Human beings have no value. So you either pay the human being a living wage, or UBI, you pay them that to go to sleep and die of 5G cancer, or the virus or whatever. We just get locked in our houses. We all slowly rot to death. You either do that or you just gun me down right now. That's my future in this life. Is that a little scary? It's the truth. That's what it approaches. We have no value as human beings anymore. Nobody wants to recognize that because it's too scary of a thought. We have no value. The technology is beyond your imagination. What they've even showed us so far is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure technology is far greater than what we even know about. Has war technology, what they've shown us, has it really advanced that much beyond World War II? Don't they still use the Browning light machine gun? Aren't they still using light machine guns all the way from World War II? It's like 70 years. Don't you think technology has improved significantly since then? They just don't show us anything. That's the thing. Medical technology. Don't you think there are greater things available? See, it's not available to me or you because we have no value. Now the elites, the vampires, they want to continue living, so they get that stuff because they run everything. That's another conspiracy. You're crazy, Alex. No. I have no value. I will be replaced. So the argument really is ridiculous. See, from what the world perceives, what the world sees as value today is whether you can accurately put a ball in a hoop at a higher percentage rate. That's talent today that can't be replicated, apparently. Don't you think a robot could make that shot at 100%? I think a robot could do a better job than him. But of course, we have to have these games. We have to put a face to the distraction, which is that basketball player, right? Or the football player, or this tennis player, or whatever. But see, I have no value to this world. Now, in the world to come, I had that thought today as I was walking Jack. I was so thankful and grateful to God just to be able to walk around and feel the wind blowing and get to observe the sun was coming up. It's fairly early in the morning. Just walking Jack, enjoying him, just observing him as he walked around, smelled everything. See all the grass, all the trees, hear the wind, hear the birds chirping. You know, I am in God's presence as I walk through this world. And I recognize how small I am, how insignificant I am in this world. And I'm just observing all of this, observing the magnificence of God. And you don't observe, see, I don't observe the magnificence of man. There is no magnificence of man. That's the whole difference, God is magnificent. God created all of this. God created me, and God created LeBron James. God made that. God made all of this. Why don't we give some recognition to him for what he's made? Instead of giving the $50 million to the basketball player, giving him all the glory. And then what does that sports player do? They turn around and give the middle finger to God and say they're God. I'm God because I can throw a ball in a hoop. I'm a God because of that. Sad. So in this world, I don't think any of us have really any value. But we're here, and we've been given this opportunity to be here. Why don't we give the glory back to God and recognize what he's done instead of only what I can do, what I can aspire to be? How can I justify myself before men to be greater than other men? That's the world's perspective, is how can we better ourselves to be better than better? It's such a stupid pursuit. My whole life has been that pursuit. Because that's what I've been taught. That's what I've been told my whole life. In school, in education. Bettering yourself in all these ways. And how can I improve my stature among my peers, It's all irrelevant. It's all useless. It's all vanity, as Solomon would say. What's the point? What the hell is the point? There's no point. Most of my life, that's what I've been about, is how can I please man? That's what Saul was, a people pleaser. Why don't you wake up and get on the ball with how can I please God? Because just that simple walk, it's better than any kind of sports distraction or any kind of distraction in this life. It's all about him. And so we do have a value in the life to come. And God has a value to me. He puts a value on me. He puts a price tag on me. He chooses me and gives me this opportunity. And I don't want to let him down. So even though most likely most of us are going to be obliterated in this life, not long. This life is fleeting. There's not much time left. When you're honest about it, I have no value in this life. In the world to come, God has a value set on me. He decides what value I am. And that's the only perspective that I care about. Not on whether some guy can throw a ball in a hoop or whether I can do a better job in my job. I can't. I am worthless. Really, when you think about it, a robot can, and that's coming soon. We're all going to be replaced. There are already, 22 million Americans out of work now? How many factories do you think they're going to shut down now? How can anybody afford a car? You think these factories are going to be remaining open? They're going to shut them down, add a bunch of robots, start building the automated cars. Won't even have cars to drive because everybody sucks at driving anyway. So, originally when I told this story, I shared a story from college where this guy confronted me about where I see myself in this world. And all the way back then I said, I'm an ant. And that, all the way back then, even in my depression, my anxiety, that perspective was actually still accurate, as I am an ant in this world, in this life. It is pointless. But then it goes back to Solomon's conclusions. I identify with Solomon, what he says in Ecclesiastes. It is all vanity. It is all pointless. Life is pointless. Work is pointless. But then his conclusion is dead on. It only matters what God wants, what pleases God. Recognize God. Give the glory to Him. Jesus Christ. Give your heart to Him today. Because He's the only perspective that really matters. It doesn't matter what others look at you, what they think about you, how they view you, what your value is to other human beings. It's all irrelevant. It's only what God sees and what God views in your heart. That's what matters. I'm not saying that you shouldn't live your life for others and be a good neighbor and try to treat others with respect and love and courtesy. God commands that, to love your neighbor. But overall, the overall viewpoint of everything, this world, I am irrelevant. The world to come, I think He has plans for me and for you. Take Him into your heart today. In Jesus' name.